Hey there and welcome to Scandal Steep. My heart breaks when I think about Jackie Wilson, a man whose voice could shake the heavens, yet whose legacy was nearly erased by the very industry he helped build. Despite spending over 20 years as a bona fide star, Wilson lived much of his life in debt. Money seemed to disappear as fast as it came in. His managers, publishers, and so-called advisors constantly offered him advances, usually with hidden strings attached. They knew how to tempt him: flashy purchases, quick loans, and hollow promises. In truth, it wasn't about bad spending habits, it was theft, plain and simple. Jackie's story isn't rare, unfortunately. Hollywood has long been unkind, especially to black artists. Time and time again, we've seen talented black performers chewed up and spit out by an industry that thrives on exploitation. And Jackie Wilson's name stands near the top of that tragic list. Many younger folks today may not recognize the name Jackie Wilson. If you're unfamiliar with American Bandstand or the golden age of R&B, you might miss how influential he truly was. He wasn't just another rock and roll artist, he was a trailblazer, a firecracker on stage, and a man with a voice that could bring a crowd to its knees. They called him Mr. Excitement for a reason. But once the applause faded and the lights dimmed, the industry seemed to turn its back on him. There was no real protection for his wealth, no safety net. Jackie was manipulated, robbed, and eventually forgotten by the same system that once praised him. Some even whisper that his tragic end was no accident at all. Rumors have circulated for decades suggesting powerful figures behind the scenes may have had more to do with his downfall than the public will ever know. Jackie Wilson wasn't just talented, he was magnetic. His energy on stage was unmatched, his voice angelic. But what if that very brilliance made him a target? For years, insiders have whispered about Jackie's entanglement with the darker underbelly of showbiz: ruthless managers, shady promoters, even underworld figures who saw dollar signs in his success and didn't care what happened to him personally. The deeper you dig, the more inconsistencies you find surrounding his tragic collapse. Witnesses changing stories, documents sealed, theories brushed aside. Was it really just a health issue or something more deliberate? This isn't just a salacious mystery, it's a history lesson about how fame, especially for black artists, can be both a blessing and a curse. It makes you wonder, how many others were buried in the same silence? Jackie seemed to know, even as a young man, that he wasn't promised a long life. Maybe that's why he lived with such reckless energy, drinking cocktails at 10, gambling before most kids could do multiplication, and fathering his first child at just 17. His talents spanned singing, dancing, and boxing. And though he made piles of money, he learned too late that none of it was safe. Born Jack Leroy Wilson Jr. on September 9, 1934, in Highland Park, Michigan, Jackie's early life was divided between the city streets of Detroit and the Deep South, where his grandparents lived in Mississippi. The church there left a mark on young Jackie, but not in the way you'd expect. It wasn't the sermons that moved him, it was the music. He heard the emotion in gospel and soaked it in, not as religion, but as raw, powerful sound. Back in Detroit, things were tough. His father, often drunk and unemployed, walked out for good when Jackie was just 9. With no steady role model, Jackie sought guidance elsewhere and, unfortunately, found it in all the wrong places. By age 10, he was already running with local gangs, most notably the Shakers. Life on the streets came with danger, but Jackie had another hustle brewing that would shape his destiny. At 10 years old, Jackie was already performing on sidewalks, singing his heart out for spare change. Whatever money strangers tossed into his hat was quickly spent, often on liquor. He was a kid caught between two worlds, one foot in the choir his mother pushed him into, the other planted firmly in the streets. His mother hoped church would straighten him out. But for Jackie, it wasn't about choosing between good and bad, it was about following the music. Eventually, he joined a gospel quartet called the Ever Ready Gospel Singers. The group became popular in Detroit, performing at churches and sharing the donation money after shows. But even then, Jackie was already flirting with trouble, often using the group's earnings to gamble. And when he won, he kept it all. By the time he hit his teens, Jackie had already experienced more than many adults. He began a relationship with a girl named Frida Hood, and though they were barely out of childhood, their connection was intimate and would last for years. Jackie was growing up too fast, throwing punches in the boxing ring, placing bets, making love, and earning cash. But school? That didn't interest him. By age 15, he dropped out completely, hoping boxing might be his path to fame. He even had some success. Jackie once won a Golden Gloves championship in Michigan, despite being underage and even sporting a fake mustache to pass as older. But all of that changed one night. During a match, his mother showed up and called out his nickname, Sonny. Distracted, Jackie turned his head just long enough for his opponent to beat him bloody. His mother saw the whole thing and made up her mind on the spot. Her son would never box again. Surprisingly, Jackie listened. Boxing was over, but music was still calling. Jackie began performing in local clubs, and one night, fate stepped in. A talent agent spotted him and offered a golden opportunity. The Dominoes, a popular R&B vocal group, needed a new lead singer to replace Clyde McPhatter. It was a huge chance and Jackie took it. He walked into the audition with a boldness that shocked everyone. He told the group outright he was a better singer than McPhatter. The audacity stunned them, but then he sang. And just like that, he was hired. There was one condition: he had to change his name. His birth name was Jack, and his nickname was Sonny. Neither fit the image the group wanted. And so, Jackie Wilson was born. Though Jackie had bragged he could outshine McPhatter, the Dominoes initially struggled after the lineup change. Jackie's presence alone couldn't fill Clyde's shoes. But he wasn't discouraged. By 1957, he was quietly plotting his solo career. Just like Beyonce would do decades later, Jackie broke away and started seeking new material to record. That's when he met a fellow Detroit native and ambitious young songwriter named Berry Gordy. The two bonded instantly, even sharing a background in boxing. Gordy would go on to write Jackie's breakout hit, Lonely Teardrops, a song that would catapult Jackie into superstardom and mark the beginning of a complicated relationship between art, fame, and tragedy. With Gordy's songwriting and Jackie's powerhouse vocals, the hits started rolling in. But Jackie wasn't just a voice, he was a showman. His dance moves, electrifying stage presence, and signature style earned him the nickname Mr. Excitement. He inspired everyone from James Brown to Michael Jackson. Jackie was the kind of performer who made crowds scream. Elvis Presley himself once demanded to meet him, calling Jackie the Black Elvis. Jackie, ever the wit, flipped it: "Then you must be the white Jackie Wilson." The respect between them was real, but many believe Elvis borrowed Jackie's style, down to the hip gyrations that got both men scolded by conservative critics. Jackie didn't just stop at provocative moves. He stripped off jackets and ties on stage, worked the mic like it was a dance partner, and pulled women from the audience for a kiss. It was all part of his charm and a calculated way to connect with fans. Interestingly, Jackie often chose women who weren't considered conventionally beautiful. It wasn't just kindness, it was strategy. He wanted to appear approachable, like anyone had a shot with him. Fans loved it. But sometimes, Jackie's charisma brought more than adoration, it brought chaos.